Today's breaking news edition of Steelers Talk is sponsored by Mint Mobile, the cell phone wireless plan with plans starting at just $15 a month. Get going today over at mintmobile.com/chatsports. We'll tell you more about them later on in today's show. But there is, of course, the breaking news this Tuesday morning, afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in. The Steelers have signed USFL defensive tackle Doug Costin, who has also spent some time playing even in the NFL. If you're wondering, who is Doug Costin and why should I care? We'll explain that as part of today's video, and this is exactly why you guys subscribe for breaking news like this one. And we'll break down Doug Costin, his chance of making the team, and everything about it. And that's why you're here on Steelers Talk. For the news as it happens, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. The Steelers did formally announce the signing of Doug Costin. I will make note that they did not announce anything involving contract details. I can tell you what it's going to be, though. It might actually officially, quote-unquote, be more than a year because Doug Costin has only played one real season in the NFL, so the default language on contracts will be to go beyond a year because the Steelers will retain his rights in the event he makes the team. But this is going to be for no guaranteed money, or at least next to no guaranteed money, and the vet minimum. Costin most recently played for the Birmingham Stallions of the USFL. Didn't play that much. He did play a pretty decent amount, though, back in 2020 with the Jacksonville Jags, who were bad that year. 32 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 0 sacks, 2 pass breakups. He was an undrafted free agent that year out of Miami of Ohio. He did not make a major impact overall in 2021. He had 1 tackle, bounced around a little bit, but a UDFA making a couple starts, playing a key rotation role is significant. Now, he only played 4 games in the USFL, had 9 tackles, a TFL, half a sack. Didn't make any major massive impacts, but again was more of a part-time rotation player. The Steelers did have an open roster spot, especially along the defensive line. Daniel Archibong had retired somewhat surprisingly last week. I think it was last week. Dates and times tend to blur when you have an 8-month-old at home. But they had the open roster spot along the defensive line. Costin comes in and will fill a potential roster spot. Unlike most of the guys signed in mid to late July, I think there is actually a non-zero chance that Costin makes this team. He is, I think, a bit of a sleeper signing by Pittsburgh. Now, give me your one-word reaction to the signing of Doug Costin. Sleeper could be one of them. Maybe who is another one. But I want one word and one word only at the pinned comments of today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, perfect timing. Take advantage of it. Head down there and give me one-word reaction to the signing of Doug Costin by the Pittsburgh Steelers. My one word, part 1, is depth. That's what you're looking for when you make this type of signing. You're not looking for an instant impact guy unless it's like an Anthony Barr or, go with the Steelers, Larry Ogunjobi type of signing. There is a difficult path to make the active roster, the 53-man roster for Doug Costin. He could be a prime practice squad candidate signing here in mid to late July. The other tricky part for Costin in particular, it was only 4 games, but it was 4 games. Unlike the college players, the NFL players whose seasons wrapped up in December, January, February, whenever, his season wrapped up in July because Birmingham did make it to the championship game and won it for the USFL. So there's less recovery time. As you I'm sure all know, football's hell on the body. So that is less recovery time and increases the risk of potential injury, just tiredness, hitting a wall, whatever, when it comes to dealing with life in the NFL. Although he should be in maybe better shape than some of the other guys out there. I think this is a sleeper signing. You're getting a player who was a surprise UDFA roster make back in 2020 by the Jags. He didn't make the team in 2021, was cut, briefly played for the Bengals. More on that later on. But this is a player with actual NFL experience. One of the few USFL guys who actually made it, however brief, in the NFL. That does seem significant as far as I'm concerned. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. If you want a cell phone plan for as little as $15 a month, well, Mint Mobile is perfect for you because they're changing the game. Inflation absolutely sucks. It's impacting so many people, including yours truly, and that's why I made the choice to save a ton of money by making the switch over to Mint Mobile. And oh, by the way, super easy thanks to their digital eSIM cards. You don't have to visit a store. It's to activate your plan in seconds. You can get set up from the comfort of your own home. And there's unlimited talk and text. And your mom might even ask you to stop calling so much because it's unlimited. You may have heard of Mint Mobile before. They are the cell phone company owned by Ryan Reynolds. Premium wireless for as little as $15 a month. So make the switch today at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Prices that low, you'd be a little silly not to make the switch. That link's in the comments section and the description. It's mintmobile.com/chatsports. Let's look at the defensive line depth. We'll spend some time on this one just because there's a lot to break down. So you lose Stephon Tuitt, you lose Daniel Archibald, you bring in Larry Ogunjobi, you bring in Doug Costin. I think your roster locks are Cam Hayward, Ogunjobi, DeMarvin Leal. I think Tyson Alualu, Isaiah Loudermilk, Chris Wormley are mostly safe. And there's been recent draft picks, Carlos Davis, Khalil Davis as well as some investment. Montravis Adams is a guy I like. The defensive line depth in Pittsburgh, I think, is some of the best in the entire NFL, even just among 3-4 teams. So it is a tricky path for Costin to make it. But it gives the Steelers, depth in the event of injuries, gives them flexibility along the defensive line. If a team comes calling for a trade of somebody, maybe Pittsburgh could ship out a defense lineman to get a cornerback or an offensive lineman or something along those lines. Having extra depth at one position is never a bad thing, and it gives them flexibility come roster cutdown time. Now, I want you to be honest with this question. It's okay if you say no. Have you heard of Doug Costin before? It's okay if you say no. I expect most of you to say no, but I want honest answers for me. Y for yes, N for no. No lying, I have heard of him. There are the occasional signings of, who the hell is that guy that team just signed? But I do know Doug Costin. In fact, I'm probably one of the few non-Jacksonville media members who are familiar with him. And that is because, no homer, he went to my alma mater, Miami of Ohio. Steelers fans might have heard of somebody who went to that school in the past. Costin arrived at Miami a little bit after I had left, part of the dark ages of the Don Treadwell era because he sucked as a coach. But Costin was highly productive for the Red Hawks and was an immediate player for them. 19 tackles, 1.5 TFLs, and a half a sack as well in his freshman season. 2017, 2018, 2019 had fairly solid and consistent production, around 9.5 tackles for loss. Was approaching 10 on average there, about 5 sacks over a season. He's not much of a pass rusher for the modern-day NFL, but he does offer you some, I think, good 5 technique reps. That's where I think he'll end up playing for the Steelers. But, yes, I was familiar with him only because he went to my alma mater. Also, I am a nerd. That's what happens. So Costin's career so far. Jacksonville in 2020. UDFA made the active roster. 2021 was on it for the preseason, did not make the team. Goes to the Bengals, spent the majority of his time on the practice squad, was a call-up a couple times there. 2022 was a Birmingham Stallions member, only played 4 games for the USFL champs, now is a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh worked out 5 players yesterday. The decision to sign Costin meant he was the most impressive of the bunch. Now, they worked out several different players overall, but a common theme, right? All defensive linemen from that standpoint. Freedom, I don't have the pronunciation in front of me, who spent time with the Bengals, by the way. Dominique Davis, Dondre Tillman, and Willie Yarber. There is some more USFL overlap guys from that standpoint as well, but they were clearly looking for some more help along the defensive line, and they found it now with Doug Costin. Folks, remember, this is exactly why you guys subscribe. For free Steelers videos pretty much every single day. Sometimes it's news on a USFL signing who you may, or, for being honest, probably have not heard of. Sometimes it's rumors, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Thomas Mott, but our goal here at Steelers Talk is to give you guys the best Steelers coverage on YouTube. A lot of you guys have subbed. Clearly you like it so far. Keep it going. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now.